Alright everyone, welcome back. Just before we get into this video, I want to take a minute to thank everybody that subscribed to the channel. I know a lot of you guys have come from DeBoss Garage and Welker Farms, where the GMC was featured as a build. So I just want to take a minute to say thanks to those guys for giving me a shout out, and hopefully we can make some good content and keep you guys entertained. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good show. So we're getting into this here today, so let's get on with the video. Just a quick video basically lining out how we found a brand new P-pumped 4BT Cummins lying in a shed. It's a bit of a long story. I've known about this one for about a year and I knew where it was sitting. Basically the engine was made in 01 and it's been sitting in its crate ever since. You can see the amount of dust that's built up on it over 20 years. And to my surprise, pulling out the fill plug, you can see that there's never been any oil in the engine. And this is just a bit of a story about how I found it and basically pulling it out of the, getting it bought and pulling it out of the factory. And so you can see here in the video, this is me about 6 months ago looking at the engine and turning it over with just 2 spanners to see if it was seized. Obviously something that's been lying this long, you know, you have to wonder why it's been sitting there and what's going on. But to my surprise, it turned over by hand and all the bits seem to be there. You can see a lot of paperwork with it. I think there's a manual and all here as well, you know, as it was basically. The engine's 130 brake 4BT with a P-pump on it. They're very rare. You can see in the back of it, it's got an industrial flywheel. I think this was destined for a wee dumper. That's what I was told anyway. And yeah, we were fortunate enough to finally, it took a long time to negotiate it, but you know, managed to get it bought. You can see me checking here to see if the rack's moving and the pump for the stop solenoid. Just generally looking it over. Here's a few other pictures of the way the engine was found in the factory. As you can see, it's in a sorry state sitting there, but you know, sometimes you have to look past the grime and the dirt, and you can see here the tags and all are still on it, and it was ready to go. The next video is a more in-depth kind of look around the engine and pulling off some of the tags and looking at the pump. You can see here it's a PES 4P, so it's a 4-cylinder 12mm P-pump. It's got the big RQV governor on it. You see the rating plate in the engine there. It's 130 brake at 2500 RPM. It has all the ancillaries on it. I think the only thing that was took off it was a oil feed pipe for the turbo. You can see there at the back it's got the industrial style flywheel housing, and it's just caked in overspray and dust and bits and pieces. So it still has a load of information on it. I was so surprised that no one had been playing with this thing or messing with it. It's just so rare to find something, especially here. 4BTs are very hard to come by, and to find something like this. See here, it's an HX30 turbo on it, and it's all brand new. I pulled the covers off it and it was like brand new. So there's a better look at the flywheel again. Great condition for being made in 01 and having sat there. So this is the first time I've actually had a good look at this thing out in daylight. 4BT Cummins P-pump. I think it's yeah, it's 130 horsepower rating at 2500 RPM. Hydraulic PTO drive. It's got the big industrial flywheel on it. I think this thing was destined for some sort of wee dumper or some sort of commercial application. I think it's got, yeah, 24 volt starter on it. Look at that. Got a Cummins belt on it. Still has all the original tags and bits and pieces on it. Class. This thing was made, I think, in 2001. Got the data plate up online, but yeah, it's never had oil in it. And I mean, look in there. It's like brand new. For something that's been sitting around for 20 years, I would have expected to see some rust in there. I mean, HX30, it's a tiny turbo, but like there's nothing on this that's ever been used. Even the pulleys and all. How can we get this off? Class. So I know a lot of people have been asking me what we're going to do with it and what's going to happen with it. Well, fortunately I've actually sold it. Sort of bought it in conjunction with a friend of mine, Reese Myers, who does a lot of Cummins conversion parts for Land Rovers. So if you need anything for a Defender, he's the guy to call. And he's going to take it and use it for something. But you know, I think we might power wash it here, give it a clean up, see what it is. Like it's filthy, but if you give it a wee rub, all that stuff comes off. So it'd be nice to take 20 years of grime off it and see what it looks like, see what we bought. So we'll get on with that. Take a bit of a look inside this thing. You find somewhere to put you lot. That'll do. Well, would you look at that? It's never even seen oil. Like brand new. Alright, that'll do it for part 1. Just want to thank everybody for watching. Stay tuned anyway for part 2, where we're going to actually put oil in this thing and some diesel and see if we can get it to fire up, and then it'll be sent over on a lorry over to England to Mr. Myers. So, and again, thanks everyone who subscribe to the channel, and thanks for all the channels and the International Car Show that brought a few people to the channel. So all best, and I hope they'll stick with us.